Okay, we're speaking with Darren and Dustin McNutt from 2020 Accounting. We've done a whole series of videos about accounting for medical practices, which is what they do. And then they specialize in accounting for podiatry practices. So we've covered several different topics in this series, but the one we're talking about this time around is actually very interesting to me. It's how the business accounting and the financial health of the business actually impacts the personal life of the physician. And also into their future, building wealth for them and their family. So let's talk about this. Let's just kind of dive in. What is one of the things about this that maybe surprises your clients the most? So do they come into this relationship with you thinking about the impact on them as a personal human being, or is that something that kind of surprises them?
Yeah, I think a lot of times our clients are surprised that we're able to fill that gap.
Yeah.
A lot of them think of us as just being able to do the business planning.
Right.
And don't realize that we also do financial planning. We also do wealth management, investment management, and that entire world that takes care of a person's personal life.
Yeah.
Because once those funds leave the business, now they go into a person's personal bank
checking
account.
account. Right.
What do you do with it then? And that's where we bridge that gap, where we're able to help advise from the dollar made all the way to the end of the life cycle when you're building
a partner for the whole journey.
That's right.
100%. And linking the two makes a whole lot of sense because, we've talked about some tax planning in other episodes. But, part of that comes into, we've got to have a full understanding of who you are.
Yeah.
And your financial advisor needs to be on the same page as your accountant.
Yeah.
We're able to come together and create a plan that truly works for a physician.
Yeah.
To be able to, put more money in their pocket now.
Yeah.
But also look at what's going to be going on in the future.
Yeah.
Making sure that their kids are taken care of through college,
right.
Making sure that their retirement, that they're not going to be losing money in their retirement or decreasing their take home in retirement. And, I've talked about the knobs that you twist to do that.
Yeah.
And really they're all balanced.
Yeah.
And it takes everybody working together to create a plan that works for you.
It's so much bigger than just the business accounting, right? The ripple effect is just huge.
Well, the business is really there to support the individual lifestyle.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have that as a motivator, why do you even have the business? So you need to be able to take care of both and need to be able to advise on both. And that's in most of the industry, that's two separate functions that don't speak to each other.
Yeah.
And it causes a lot of friction, honestly.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we started off with the accounting and then we added the financial services, and that was really to complement the accounting, because we felt like it wasn't being looked at in one big picture, which it really is. It was looked at completely separately, and one thing may not align with the other, and you have to have that balance.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about bridging the gap between business finances and personal wealth planning. Well, first of all, tell me about how this idea came to light, because it is an addition to your business, right? It wasn't the beginning of your business. It's kind of come up as a different sector. Yeah. So how did this kind of come to be?
It came out of our tax planning.
Oh, okay.
So I would, years back, I would do tax planning for a client. We determined all these things that needed to happen. And in many ways, I was acting as the doctor writing the prescription.
Yeah.
That a, financial planner or wealth manager would need to then fulfill. And oftentimes it would get lost in translation. I would send them to speak with their financial advisor, and things would be implemented a little bit different, or maybe completely different than I had drawn up, or possibly we can have conflicting strategies where we're fighting against each other.
Right.
And so when I saw that friction with our clients, that's when I realized it really needs to be all under one house, so we can work together.
Yeah.
To bridge that and make one unified plan.
Right.
And walk together in lockstep towards the ultimate goals of the client. Which those ultimate goals. When we're talking about the ultimate goal, it's the personal side. The ultimate goal is not to make an extremely profitable business. Like, why are you doing that? It's for my personal life. It's for that, end goal, legacy I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
And so bridging all that together, there was a giant hole there that not many people are filling, and that was why we went into this.
Yeah, I think we do something that's a little bit different than other accountants or financial planners. We document people's goals with, both
like their personal goals,
the personal and professional goals.
Okay.
We document those goals and help them achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we've been doing for a few years and really helps us to provide the advice that really moves the needle to get them to be successful in what they want to be successful in.
I was speaking with a client the other day, and it was a very business directed meeting. We were talking about his business, but then afterwards he started asking me lots of questions around different investment opportunities he had. He was, I could do this, and I'm thinking about this, and he wanted to know what I, as an accountant, thought. And I was able to tell him, like, well, hey, I'm going to take my accountant hat off for a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my financial advisor hat on. And every single one of those strategies you just listed to me are excellent strategies, but they all take you in a different direction.
Yeah.
What we first have to do is determine a financial plan for you, and so we need to figure out what is it you're trying to do. If you're wanting to buy a yacht next year, well, then that you were trying, that first one you were listed, that's the one.
Yeah.
If you're trying to retire at 50, then option B is probably the one. But until we figure out what you're trying to do, I can't tell you how to get there. And then we'll work backwards to what investments you want to put in. And then we'll work backwards to what we need to do from the business to fund those investments. Those are the types of conversations we're ever able to have that most aren't.
Yeah. I see this probably most often with, I've got a podiatrist that is looking to, within 3 or 4 years, hire another podiatrist, maybe start a second office, and trying to figure out that liquidity versus, and how to still have access to those funds while still saving for retirement, still setting themselves up for success in the future. And truly documenting what those goals are and creating a plan to help meet those goals makes a lot of sense. And, having everybody on the same page just makes it, provides that clarity and, provides an opportunity to succeed in it.
It's a lot of it comes back to balance. I talked earlier about conflicting strategies. If my purview, if my view of a client ends at the business, and I'm looking at it from, say, a tax planning standpoint, my goal may be to save them the most I can this year.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm going to be judged on.
Right.
So I'm not going to look at any other factors, and I'm going to reduce their taxes as much as I can. But that may cause an imbalance in what they're trying to do on their personal side.
Sure.
And so it's so important to keep all that balance, to be able to help advise somebody like, we're going to give up a little bit here, but that's going to help you get what you're trying to here.
Right.
But if you just kind of stop at that point, then you miss all that.
If you're only seeing a piece of the puzzle,
right,
then you literally can't see the whole picture, which is not going to help you at all.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about how your financial services work and just how they're different from maybe what people are expecting from you, or kind of what you do on the medical practice side?
Yeah, I think, one thing that we do that separates us from many other financial advisors is our focus on financial planning. It all starts with a plan.
Yeah.
And so that's so important. And a lot of people are actually surprised because there is a fee involved in that. A financial plan has a price tag. And a lot of people, they've spoke to a lot of advisors that don't charge, a fee. And why don't they charge that? Because they're selling you products.
Yeah.
And because they're going to make money off of the different things that they sell you.
Yeah.
Whereas that's why we charge for the plan, is so that we can sit down, actually look at what your situation is, come up with what is best for you.
Yeah.
And regardless of our compensation, because we've already been appropriately compensated.
Right.
Implement the plan that's going to be right for your goals.
Yeah. Now you can be more objective.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if someone has two separate approaches to their business finances and their personal finances. What are some of the pitfalls of that for them?
Sure. Liquidity.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to know what your plan is personally, and professionally.
Yeah.
To be able to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to someone that's looking to buy another office or buy their office building. Well, they might need to have access to that cash, but not necessarily. They know it's a few years away. So how do we still grow that cash?
Yeah.
Versus someone else may have a much longer term approach.
Yeah.
And, you've got to balance the two, and the two have to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can easily end up with competing strategies if your accountant and your financial advisor aren't talking. One could be trying to reduce taxes, while the other one, is trying to put more towards a different investment vehicle. Sure. And that could create so much friction for a client.
Yeah.
I currently have a client right now that is, he has me that does his business.
Okay.
He has a personal accountant that does his personal accounting.
Okay.
And then he has a separate financial advisor.
Wow.
So, and this is how he wants it. And that is fine. We'll work with anybody in any way they want, but it is creating so much friction, and he is so frustrated every time I talk to him. And those frustrations come from like, hey, my visibility ends here.
Yeah.
And her visibility picks up where I leave off. And then that financial advisor's over there on another island.
Yeah.
We're all doing our own thing. You need to pick one of us.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one that does it all. So,
right. So it should be you.
But it's not just being selfish. It's like the reason you're seeing all this friction, the reason you're so frustrated is because you're working with three different advisors that are not working together.
Well, it's like an athlete working with three different coaches who all have different goals for the
exactly.
athlete, right? So they're training him in three different ways.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? He's just going to be kind of out of whack, right?
Right.
Because there's no one unified goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who's been working with you for years but didn't know you offered this?
I wouldn't say anything. I'd ask them, like, what did I do wrong that you didn't know that?
Yeah.
It does come up from time to time. I'll have someone introduce me to their financial advisor, and I'm happy to work with that person. But my question is like, what did you not know that this was a service we provided? And so it's so valuable to have that together. I would also say I'm sorry, because I feel like I've failed you and not been able to put that in front of you and provide that to you. So that's what I'd say.
What are some reasons that somebody might be approaching it that way? Maybe they do know that you offer it, but they haven't chosen to do that. Do you see like a pattern with the objections to that?
I see it as an old friend that they've had. I certainly see that. We're able to, usually we try to work with them as much as possible, but there are times when it does come to a head. Yeah. And, I'm not saying it comes to a head from us. It's just from the client's perspective. They realize, I'm having two separate people, or people tell me two different things, and then they have to go research themselves. Which one am I going to follow? And we're able to get past that. And that's a situation where they see that we are acting in their best interest. We've documented their goals. We're helping them get where they want to be, and that clarity that we're able to provide with the one plan really is beneficial.
Yeah, very cohesive.
And when you have two different voices, one in one ear and one in the other, it creates analysis paralysis. Yeah, a lot of times nothing ends up happening, right? Because you jump from this advisor who told you this to this one who told you something a little bit different. Now you got to go back to the first one and back and forth. What
he thinks about that.
Next thing you know, the year's over and neither of the strategies. Yeah. So just the momentum of having that one voice, like this is the plan, we're going to move forward. Mm-hmm. That's how things get done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had a client that came to me, and he was a client that is one of those that was a little bit shy about, hey, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I think he'd created a successful business, but he also spent everything he possibly could in out of the business.
Yeah.
And he had two kids looking towards college, and needed help figuring out a plan. How am I going to pay for all this?
Right.
And so we were able to help provide the clarity. And I think the biggest thing was we were able to get a plan and hold him accountable to get him going on the plan.
Yeah.
And so he's executed the plan. He's able to put his kids through college. He's still putting a little bit back for retirement. And we have a plan for him, in the next 5-10 years to look towards retirement.
Yeah.
And so, being able to, I think as accountants, we're able to hold people accountable in a different way than just a financial advisor, because we see it before we see it from the business side and are able to make those moves earlier on.
Yeah.
It's not just whatever's left over.
Right.
I had a client a couple years ago, and he came to me, and he was, in his mid 50s, and he hadn't done a lot of putting back for retirement, but he hadn't completely neglected it either. So he had a nice nest egg behind him. And then we sat down and were able to do some tax planning for him. We freed up an extra $100,000 a year.
Wow.
And by doing that, his budget was already in place. He was living fine with what he was getting. Now he has this extra $100,000.
Yeah.
So we were able to then move into the financial planning side. So, okay, what do you do with these funds? We were able to augment some of his lifestyle in a way that he wasn't prepared for, he's excited about. But most importantly, we were able to help him retire 3 years earlier than he was going to.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah.
So we've been talking with 2020 Accounting. Dustin and Darren McNutt is who has been visiting with me today. We have a whole series of videos on medical accounting services that they provide, with a special focus on podiatry practices. So if that's you, I recommend you reach out to them. Their website is 2020acct.com, and that is 2020acct.com. Check them out and reach out. They would love to talk to you.